What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com. Head over to FightfulWrestling.com. Get all your latest wrestling news, photos, videos, podcasts, exclusives, resources. We got it all. This show is brought to you in part by FightfulSelect.com. That is the most direct way to support Fightful.com. And you get a ton of podcasts every month. Just this weekend, I had my Weekender podcast. Last week, Warren Hayes did the 205 Live NXT review podcast. He also did a separate show for NXT UK last week. That might not be the trend always, but you can get early access to stuff like my 43-minute interview I did with Dave Lagana. That went up today. You can ask questions for the press conference that myself and Melissa are going to do for Listing Your Boy 100. You get behind-the-scenes footage, which went up. You get early access to lots of articles. You get the opportunity to ask questions for interviews. Just lots of neat stuff over there. That's pretty much the update on what we have up there now. But also, just give it a glance. We got that Survivor Series 94 podcast up there, too. That's a good watch. But it's time to talk about Raw. The first of the official 3-hour era. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski. Alex, how you doing?
I'm glad to not have 5 extra minutes to watch every week.
Maybe a little bit more. There have been weeks where we didn't get this show started until about 11:25.
Yeah, there have been weeks where it has felt interminable, even if the show had only been 2 hours long. But no, I'm glad to actually have a hard and fast network out.
Yeah, man. I reported the news last week, for those of you who missed it. A Fightful.com exclusive. Raw ending at 11 p.m. hard every single week. And I got this news and I was like, okay. And boy, was the source reliable. It was concrete. And I reached out to WWE, and they aren't always the happiest when I reach out about stuff like this that I put out before them. But they confirmed the following day. And apparently this is, from what I've been told, this is likely a USA Network call. And if it's a USA Network call, it makes me wonder why, because it is still their it's their highest rated program that they have. But I mean, too much of a good thing, quote unquote, good thing, can be a bad thing. And that's something that we figured out with this WWE show. However, the move to 3 hours has paid off major for WWE as a company, Alex.
Yeah, sure, monetarily, absolutely. The problem is that creatively, aesthetically, it hasn't. And when you say that money is by far the most important thing to us, then everything else be damned. But there are a lot of people watching the show who are fans of the product in general that say, man, this would be a lot better if you had a nice tight 2 hours instead of rambling and trying to putting together stuff where you don't actually have the time to really put together a real storyline. So you just throw a match out there 4 weeks in a row that has no real bearing on anything. That's part of the third hour that doesn't really help anybody. But certainly monetarily, it has helped them quite a bit.
Well, it makes me very happy, one, that I got the exclusive. Yeah, boy. Anyway, I can say we go live every week at a certain time. Live at 11:05. It rhymes, Alex.
There you go.
And that's what we're doing. Live at 11:05 every Monday night. We're here. Live at 10:05 every Tuesday night. We got a lot of other stuff coming up this week. NXT TakeOver on Saturday. Myself, Alex, Mr. Warren Hayes, who actually does those NXT podcasts. One of our most popular shows, by the way. And Warren will be joining us Sunday as well. Jeff will be actually at the venue covering, or at the venue, not covering. Like he's going to do that work there. Oh, let's be real.
Yeah.
But he will be there in LA. Wednesday, Listing Your Boy, number 98. Jimmy Van is back. He's been out of town for a little bit. But that just before that, at 1 p.m. Eastern, rather. Sorry, I got hung up there. The Triple H media conference call is going down. Triple H, Alex, a week after he had surgery, is like, you know what? I'm still going to do this media call. I think that's pretty indicative of how much NXT means to him.
Yeah, no, he's the proud papa. I'm sure he's, on whatever horse tranquilizers they got him on to make sure that that a man his size feels no pain after that surgery. But you know, he's got it on speakerphone. I'm sure he's got it on lock. You know, I mean, also, hey, and I mean, far be it from me to speculate, but if the painkillers have some kind of effect on him, maybe he'll like let something slip and actually tell the truth, you know, like not, you know, do some corporate double speak and try and get around stuff. Like, what do you think of Matt Riddle? Well, let me tell you what I think about Matt.
You think you'll let me get those Raw and SmackDown rundowns again? I doubt it. I doubt it. We will live stream that. The only website that live streams the Triple H press conference on Fightful.com and Fightful's YouTube's. Also, I'm just saying, Fightful also broke the story of Triple H's injured pec. Fightfulwrestling.com. Without further ado, it's Monday Night Raw time, your go-home show for Survivor Series. We start off the show with a Battle Royal, which really puts a highlight on how bad the division is.
Oh, man.
This tag team division. You just see all these guys in the ring and you go, like I had a Pusha T moment. Ugh.
Yeah.
I just felt gross looking at this. And then it was further highlighted how more terrible they were because Braun came out and killed everybody, which, you know, as long as it's him, I'm a little more privy to being okay with it. But my first thought was, oh shit, Nicholas is coming back.
That was my immediate thought too. I was watching the first few moments on mute, and I was like, oh well, Braun is a former tag team champion. Maybe he's like, well, I want to be captain of the tag team Survivor Series thing. And I was like, oh no, he's just out here because he's upset with Baron. But I was right. I called it last week. The Lucha House Party stuff, they're only on Raw right now instead of pulling double duty with 205 Live, so that Raw has a fifth tag team. Like, and I love watching this thing, and the fact that nobody mentions that all three of the dudes from Lucha House Party were part of the Battle Royal, but nobody else has a third member in this Battle Royal. Does that not give them a distinct advantage when the three of them could team up on somebody? Oh, yeah. Whatever. We won't mention that. We'll just move on because it's really only a vehicle to get to our, you know, one of our A stories, which is Braun and Brock.
So the match is thrown out immediately. Yep. We'll talk about the match because it does happen later.
Yeah.
A bunch of people jump Braun. It doesn't work. Strowman is tired of chasing Baron Corbin around and will not leave until Corbin comes out and gets these hands. Stephanie McMahon comes out instead and tries to pep talk Braun and say Shane disrespected him and all the superstars and Raw, and Braun doesn't give a heck, Alex.
No, he doesn't.
And he shouldn't. Why should he?
Why? That was my favorite part of Braun's character in recent memory, was him like, I don't care about Shane or you or Raw or SmackDown. I just want the dude who hit me in the back of the head with a title belt, which cost me from being champion. Like, that makes perfect sense to me. It's logical. I don't understand why this giant monster tweener would care about anybody. But I did love, and I thought he gave you a run for your money with the segue to the plug for the sponsor.
Motherfucker, Alex. I was going to use it.
No. Not the one you're thinking of. Where he comes out and says, tonight's episode of Raw is brought to you by Braun Strowman. I thought that was really great. That was cute. I was like, okay, good. So services that Braun Strowman can offer me. I'm willing to listen to your sales pitch.
So Stephanie is basically like me trying to negotiate with Brandon Howard. I'm like, I'll give you anything you want. Just be on my team, Brandon. I need those Q2s. I need those Q3s, man. Nobody does it like you. Brandon Howard, you know, is looking at me and he's like, I run it the way that I want to run it, Sean. My graphs look the way that I want them to look. And if they don't, I'm going to Toronto to 2-3-2-3 and kicking down Jimmy Van's door. And I'm like, I'll give you whatever you need, Brandon. Just write for us. And fortunately, much like what happened with Brandon and Fightful or a couple weeks ago, Braun accepts Stephanie McMahon's offer of anything he wants. What does he want? He wants Baron Corbin. He wants to make the stipulations. He wants a universal title shot. And Stephanie says, done. And you know what? Given the context within this, man, I thought these two were really great together because Stephanie, we'll talk about brand supremacy later on, there is the sibling rivalry too. And if nothing has been consistent for decades, it's that Stephanie McMahon is incredibly petty and will do whatever it takes to one-up her brother in particular. I don't know if this dynamic works as well if it's not her brother leading the other show.
No, I don't think it does at all. I don't think the dynamic works, period. I don't buy that for this month every year and this year for these 2 weeks. The most important thing for all of these performers is what color shirt they wear. I don't buy it. You can't get me to buy that. But I like this idea that I believe that it matters to Stephanie McMahon. I don't believe it matters to anybody who's under her employ, except for the fact that, like, I'll have you fired, whatever. She didn't actually bring that up, which I figured, she might. But I did love the like Braun's negotiating powers. Like, I want Baron Corbin to sign a waiver. Okay, well, I'll talk to the lawyers, but I'm pretty sure I can get you that too. All right. I want 3 points on the VIG, and he's great negotiator.
Have we not learned anything from Hootie and or the Blowfish Alex?
I mean,
the classic time. I don't understand. Superstars killing in the street, dying for the color of a rag.
Yeah.
That's what we got going on here. So Stephanie is not happy SmackDown has won 2 years in a row. And if we were given some sort of incentive, especially by Vince McMahon showing up and saying, like, I'm more likely to give you preferential treatment if you win this. Yeah. I understand that a little bit. But the thing is, I don't know that Vince has ever outwardly came out and said on TV, man, having the stronger brand is super, super important. But the thing is, I've talked to dozens of people who have worked for and with Vince McMahon, and they have all said that Vince sees brand supremacy as the most important thing you could possibly fight for. And I'm thinking, damn, man.
I mean, maybe that goes back to when brand supremacy actually meant something with WWE versus WCW.
Say it on the air.
Yeah, when you own and control both brands, and either one being successful is good for your bottom line, then I don't understand. Like, it'd be one thing if you could convince me of a WWE main roster versus NXT Survivor Series, and the kids at NXT like wanting to actually have their piece. You could convince me of that being an actual brand supremacy thing. But Raw versus SmackDown, because the idea also, like, you're fired. And if you're fired, we know that in 2 weeks you'll end up on the other show. Like, it's a completely, it just goes both ways. Everybody's on the same roster, really, just, Mondays or Tuesdays.
So, yeah, it would not be difficult at all for Shane McMahon on the show tomorrow to say, I know how important this is to the one guy I have to answer to. How do I know? Because I literally bought a brand to get under his skin one time.
Yep.
Because it meant so much to him that I did that. Mm-hmm. It is, they have all this, this here. But Braun's still not sold on Stephanie.
Nope.
He says, I know how you look at me. You think that I'm just a mindless meat castle.
It's true.
And you know what? We watched this mindless meat castle go through about 20 asses to start off. We watched this mindless meat castle run the gamut, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
The gauntlet, as they say.
True. Both things.
He put a few notches in his post, if you know what I'm saying.
He did.
If you want to put a few notches in your post with your mindless meat castle, don't make a mindless decision. Hit up my buddies at BlueChew.com. You know the drill, guys. That's Blue Chew, like the color blue. It can help your performance, give you that extra confidence in bed. Whether it's 5-on-1 or 1-on-5, I don't know what situation you're going to be in. If you want to be the sole survivor when all is said and done, BlueChew.com will help you out. That's blue like the color blue. Brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. It won't cut off your overrun. You got your solid time, but you know what? Maybe you want a little bit more. Maybe that hard out time, it's still a hard time, but
maybe you not just want a hard out time. Maybe you need a hard in and hard out time. A hard in and out time.
And you know what? If you've got a hard out time and you can't make it to the doctor, this stuff ships direct. It's prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. No in-person doctor's visit. No waiting at the pharmacy. And we got a special deal for you. How about this? I'm going to give something away for free. Going to give something away for free. You use the code FIGHTFUL at BlueChew.com. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. Bam! You're good to go. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL. Hit them up at GetBlueChew on Twitter. Let them know you heard about their product from us, even if you don't use it yet. You will. You will. That was a tough one to get through. So Strowman says that he's going to tear down HQ if she doesn't keep her word. Baron Corbin. Ronda Rousey comes out next. True. Interrupts Stephanie. Says she doesn't need a pep talk. She wants to show the man, Becky Lynch, how to rip someone's arm off. And she teases doing it to Stephanie. But Baron comes out, puts his hand on Rousey's shoulder, and she throws him. And Baron didn't help her that much. Nope. But she still got the job done, Alex.
Yeah, she did. She's a judo master. I liked it. I love the idea of him coming out. We don't want to get overconfident, Ronda. That is good advice. But you don't put your hands on Ronda. Just don't do that. Please don't do that. So yeah, that was good. I like that. It shows that she's a badass. I like her and Braun standing side by side as friends. I think that's a cool little thing. That's like 3/4. That's like 2/3 of an action movie trio that just runs through a jungle killing a bunch of commandos.
So Braun gets in Corbin's face. Stephanie takes control, and Braun says, "Have fun being Stephanie's lapdog. Because after Survivor Series, I'm going to neuter you."
Yeah.
Solid line.
Good line. Did you see that the Meat Castle thing? That's like a little pet name that Braun's girlfriend has for him in real life that he decided to use tonight.
Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. On her Instagram, she always
sounds like something Ving Rhames would name him if he were on the Arby's menu. We have the Meat Castle.
She always uses the old hashtag Meat Castle when she's posting photos of the two of them on Instagram.
Oh boy. Hope that breakup goes well if that happens. Or else you never know what's going to be out there. So Nia and Tamina are backstage and they're screaming at people to move who are not in their way at all.
I don't know.
Let's talk about this Tamina Ember Moon match. Tamina wins. If anybody, well, I can't say that. Ember Moon, on my match rating, I would have given her performance a 7 out of 10 on my scale, which is excellent.
Yeah.
This match fell below par, though. Why? Because her opponent didn't move the whole night. Ember Moon had this entire match with a statue, including when she did a suicide dive to the outside and Nia budged about, 2 inches, which she was supposed to. It's some kicks. Nia distracts Ember. She gets super kicked off the top rope and a super fly splash with some heavy camera trickery to make sure that it looked okay.
Yeah.
Got the win. And Tamina looked a little gassed after a 10-minute singles match where she didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. This Tamina push is confounding. I didn't miss her when she was gone. and now she's back, and it's like, well, we know she can't move. She got bad knees, and
not a spring chicken.
No, and that Superfly splash is more like a Superfly kind of fall off the top rope.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Super falling with style.
Yeah. Super fall sploosh. Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, the thing is, you can just alter her style to where she does things that accentuate her limitations a little bit better to her abilities. There are not a lot of women that size working right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of women throwing the sidewalk slam out there.
Nope.
Like, adopt the big boss man slam, for the love of God. It's there. Take it. Use it.
I would like to, I'm wary of her trying new things. At this point.
That's very true as well
in her career.
But when I see her laboring heavily after this match, I'm like, she probably needs to be in a tag team.
Yeah,
sweet woman, but man, I don't feel confident when she's in there. I really don't.
No, I also, and you talk about Ember Moon being, doing such a great job tonight, and it does. She elevates anybody she works with, and it's one of those things where you watch. Oh, you're using her on TV and showcasing her abilities in an effort to put over the far less talented person she's working against, because if that person can beat her, wow, that person must be great. And I always I never really like that, because if you're going to make that person great, have them show off what they can do personally, as opposed to showing the other person do good stuff and then have them beat them or whatever. But I'd much rather see Ember as part of this Survivor Series.
Yeah, seems like it's going to be a heel-oriented team. Naya texts Ember after the match. Reminder, guys, on this channel, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be we're coming live with the Fightful MMA podcast. MMA insider James Lynch, Ryzen play-by-play commentator Showdown Joe, who quite frankly had the news of the Mayweather situation being a hoax way before anybody. He said it on our show last week. We do have a new Fightful MMA and Boxing YouTube channel. Search Fightful MMA and Boxing on YouTube. We're going to have a custom URL soon. Comment, subscribe. You will be registered to win a signed Chuck Liddell Randy Couture photo ahead of Chuck Liddell's MMA return this month. But tomorrow we're talking about the Mayweather hoax. We're going to preview UFC Argentina. We're going to talk about quite frankly, the most unbelievable knockout maybe that I have ever seen in my entire life, which happened at UFC Denver. Join us. Also, follow us at Fightful MMA for our MMA-based stories. Corey Graves is out to interview Seth Rollins, and they're like, the theme of this show is talking heads constantly warning people to not overlook their opponents on Sunday, because for some reason they insinuate that we think that they're overlooking them just because there's no reason for these matches to really happen besides brand supremacy.
Yeah.
Rollins says that he is focused on Nakamura, but he wants answers. And the question I want answered are, do Renee and Dean talk about anything? This relationship seemed incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them saying, hey, has he told you anything? And her being like, well, I'm going to let him speak for himself. And that can be the end of it. But a lot of the insinuations are by Michael Cole, and Corey Graves is like, what are you hiding? What are you hiding, Renee?
By next week, she's got to go, God damn, quit asking me.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like, at this point, I think we've reached the threshold for how many times she can say, listen, whatever I know, I'm not divulging it. He's got to. But the problem is they set up this whole thing, this whole quandary, by having her be this commentator on the same show with him as a character, where if he does anything, we should assume that his wife, who we all know that she is his wife, would have insight into his motivations. So the questions are always going to get asked no matter what he does. And that's, if you don't like those being there, then you just kind of set that up yourself, WWE.
Oh, man. So Dean Ambrose is out in the cold, says the fans don't deserve to have him in the arena. There's a big barrel fire going on, Alex.
Yeah.
It can't be legal.
Well, no, and it also can't be good for that car's paint job so close to an open flame. You know?
Yeah, I'm thinking bad idea.
Bad idea.
He doesn't care. He says that Roman held him back, that Seth held him back, the Shield held him back, and then he burns his gear. And he was so haphazard with this gas. I was like, watch out. What kind of car was that?
It looked like some kind of, I don't know. I'm not a car guy. It was red, looked sporty. My thing was that doesn't he douse the stuff with gasoline and then throw it in the fire? Is that what he did? Because the fire did not react in any way to the quote unquote gasoline that he introduced into the flames. There was one moment in the promo that I actually thought was really interesting that I wish they would have really expounded on and they could have really used this, was the architect doesn't have any plans now, huh? Didn't see this one coming, did you, Seth? And the idea of if they had just had a little patience to like have Seth and Dean lose their way after Roman went away with his illness, and Dean looked to Seth being the architect, the guy who's got all the ideas, and Seth be unable to figure out how, like, what to do, and Dean be like, fine, you know what? I'll go out on my own because me by myself is just as good as the two of us together because you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's something, but instead we have this one little snippet in this thing, which, okay, fine. We kind of guessed that's why you turned on Seth. There was no real impetus for it to happen in that particular moment. But listen, I love dishonorably discharged Dean. I love that character. I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. By the way, guys, don't tag people. Don't tag wrestlers in negative tweets on Twitter. Don't be that guy. I put on there, hey, who busted open Becky? And people are tagging wrestlers. Don't be that dickhead. Don't be that weirdo, man.
No.
That's weirdo stuff. So unusual, man, that behavior. Finn Balor defeated Dolph Ziggler. They show a highlight of Drew McIntyre versus Kurt Angle last week, and boy, did Drew McIntyre go over last week.
Yeah.
He gets a real great promo about how long he's waited for a moment like this. Finn Balor comes out, and quite frankly, he gets ethered on the mic. He comes out and smiles. Yeah, but Drew, you're a bully. And I'm like, man, what are you, why? To me, it's not really right and wrong that gets me into or out of a character. It's, are they interesting? Are they compelling or not? And Drew McIntyre is very, very interesting, and Finn Balor isn't. And Drew says, you care too much about people's feelings, about right and wrong. I wasn't going to do anything for European pride. Your mags, I kicked your head off. And then Drew says, we'll have a match. Well, not with me. You'll have it with Dolph. And then if you beat him, maybe I'll come down to your level. I'm thinking, man, he's kind of shitting on Ziggler here.
Well, right. But as was pointed out by Graves, he shit on Ziggler immediately after saying Ziggler was the actual best in the world.
Yeah.
And, which is a good little thing. I love that they have figured out a way to transition from when they were first introduced as a pairing a few months ago. Oh, this is Dolph as Shawn Michaels, where he's finally got his diesel. This is great. This is cool, And now it's been flipped, and Drew is the guy in charge, and he's got himself a very talented little toady who will do whatever Drew tells him to, and he's mean and nasty, but he's definitely playing second fiddle to Drew now, and that happened so gradually, I almost missed it. And I love where they're at now. I love Drew, and it feels like they had a chance to catch lightning in a bottle with a champion babyface Braun Strowman versus a heel Drew McIntyre feud, and instead they've got Braun making like negotiations with Steph for another match at some later date with Brock after he beats up Baron Corbin, while Drew slums it in some feud with Finn Balor. Like they could have actually made this thing amazing, and instead they've got two lesser things going on instead.
You all have seen this match a million times. It's Balor throwing a lot of kicks, Ziggler doing his stuff. The Marty Scurll version, the Too Sweet chants, leads to Balor rolling up Ziggler for the win. Stephanie backstage adds Balor to the Survivor Series team, tells Drew this is her show, not his. She wasn't happy about that terminology that he used. She wants them to work together, not tear each other apart, and afterwards they can. It kind of closes the logic gap a little bit, I guess, but hey.
Yeah. I mean, this is the other thing is that to me, if I mean, I'm assuming Stephanie's watched past Survivor Series matches. Every Survivor Series match on each team, for some reason, they decided to put two guys on the team who are in a feud outside of this match. And then everyone's shocked when they turn on each other, costing at least one of them to be eliminated. And I mean, we'll talk about the women's team in a bit, but like it becomes this whole thing where, yeah, putting Finn and Drew on the same team is probably a bad idea because one of them is going to cost the other one to be eliminated, and that's bad for your team. Why not? Here's an idea. Put all 5 guys on the team that all kind of get along at least, or at least mercenaries enough to do it. But in this case, that's not going to help you out. So, all right.
We will make our Survivor Series and NXT TakeOver predictions on the post-SmackDown show. Also, didn't realize Braun Strowman's girlfriend is Nick Aldis's manager in NWA. That's pretty awesome. She had a big presence at NWA 70. So there's this weird Ronda Rousey promo. Oh, God, let's talk about this. So I've covered Ronda Rousey for a long time, throughout MMA, throughout pro wrestling. I know a lot of people close to her camp, obviously, based on some of the stories that we've broken at Fightful. Anybody who has followed her or known her and heard this promo would be like, really?
Yeah.
What? Hypersensitive? Kind of fits her. Avocados? She loves avocados. She eats them all the time. Millennial? That's her.
Yeah.
She's a millennial.
She and Becky are both 31 years old.
Not only that, Alex, they were born 2 days apart. 2 days. Less than 48 hours, quite likely.
Oh, my God.
One of them was born on January 30th. The other one was born on February 1st. I think that Vince McMahon doesn't know what a millennial is.
No.
I think that was the case. Didn't he bring that up during the Steve Austin podcast about millennials? We know what his view of millennials are. Rousey targets Becky Lynch for being entitled and being a millennial, then gets really aggressive. I just don't think it plays well, some of this, where she goes these mood swings on promos. Says that Becky Lynch getting offended and sensitive won't help her, and I'm thinking, what, mate? What?
No.
Got mad and went off on a 21-year-old girl because she congratulated a woman who beat you in a real fight. So that doesn't work here. It does not work here. I don't think she delivers the promos I think she was delivering promos best when she started and has regressed.
Yeah. It doesn't help that WWE is pushing a fictionalized version of her. You know, like you said, I mean, like she loves avocados and she's the same age as Becky Lynch, almost exactly the same age. And, you know, calling somebody else hypersensitive when we've seen how she actually reacts in her past. This is the WWE betting that their main audience, the core audience, most of them, the majority of them, didn't follow Ronda Rousey much before she came to WWE, and also won't be like do a whole bunch of background research on her to figure out if any of the things she's saying are true or not. So it just feels like we'll have her say whatever we want, and everyone will believe that it's true. But you know, if you have the crossover fans and be like, "Hey, this doesn't ring true to me. This is weird. I don't know if I can trust her anymore. It's a weird deal to like, and because they're obviously building her as a major part of their company right now, and somebody to root for. So having her like utter provable falsities, at least skirting the truth, is weird.
Yeah, as Joe points out in our live chat, she has a self-sustaining farm. That's as millennials it gets. That is a very super hipster thing to do these days.
It is.
I have plenty of friends who fit the description. Yeah, this is weird. WWE also has this weird reliance on what I call the psych bitch promo.
Yeah.
They have a female heel come out and feign that she is remorseful and sad or grateful or whatever, and then they go, psych bitch. That's what Ruby Riott did, and she delivered it about as well as she could outside of the fake crying to begin the situation. Through to a video, of course, they're like, hey, make sure you're sincere, but throw to this video while you're there. Because nothing's more sincere than throwing to a video of yourself.
Yeah.
We all see it coming. She's happy about what she did. She wants to bring something real out of Natalya. Well, she brought a real ass whipping out of Natalya, and that's about it. That was this segment.
Yeah. That was it. Ruby Riott has colored hair now. Is that new? Because I thought she was just a brunette for long and long.
Dude, the amount of spray tans on this show is unbelievable, man.
It's too much.
They should be banned. Men and women alike. Jeff Hardy probably the worst offender, but
yeah. I didn't love this because I don't like the, you know. I mean, you got on me for last week because I didn't believe Natalya's grief at the sunglasses thing. I'm fine with her grief at her dad dying, but the idea of that particular object and like his soul was within it, and now it's been lost to purgatory. The sunglasses thing was weird, and going back and showing it again and having, you know, Ruby be like, sorry about it, but not sorry. Ha ha. It was just another way of wasting part of that third hour.
Yeah. Winners lead Team Raw Battle Royal. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable win. They're running it back. The highly anticipated rematch from roughly 2 hours before.
Yep.
Heath Slater and Rhino out first. Both members of the Revival get thrown out. This tag team division sucks ass, man. Lucha House Party and B Team are eliminated, and of course, it is down to the Ascension, Roode and Gable. If nothing else, this is one of the longest running feuds on the show.
Yeah. Is it? It's 5 teams. Yeah.
I guess
because that's what the Usos said last week.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to figure out, like, over on SmackDown, it's probably going to be Usos, New Day, Sanity. Good Brothers, are they still active? Like, here's the thing. There are at least 4 or 5 that it may be that the 5 best tag teams in the entire match are all from SmackDown. I mean, that very well may be the case, because really I'm not sold on this whole Gable and Roode thing yet. Like, they can't seem to consistently beat the Ascension. I don't think that they're right. Like, I love the Revival, and the Revival should be one of the best teams, but they're certainly not treated as such. I also love the Lucha House Party, but there'll always be to Vince McMahon, the 205 Live guys, who I needed a 5th tag team, and I asked somebody, hey, on that purple brand that we also do, is there anybody who's a tag team? Oh, good.
Yeah. Also, it looks like Heath Slater and Rhino are the odd men out on the Raw team, based on what I've heard. Roode and Gable, though, one of the highlights of Raw was this awesome neckbreaker moonsault they did. That was unbelievable.
It was badass. I loved it.
That's a finish. That is a legit finish. I have never seen that before.
Yes.
Brock Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman. You know what it is. It's a Paul Heyman promo. It's good. I love the line where he said, if you don't get my Hotel California references, Google it, bitches. I'm not here to educate you. I'm here to educate AJ Styles.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch. And I love how he brought up how close AJ was to beating Lesnar last year. That is a level of continuity that we need, and says that Brock didn't like that. He didn't. I kind of go back to a Cody Rhodes promo when he was putting over Willie Mack, and he said, Willie Mack took me to a place in the ring that I was uncomfortable with. And that's kind of what Heyman conveyed with Brock here, that AJ took Brock to a place he wasn't comfortable with. Jinder Mahal comes out and warns Brock not to overlook AJ Styles, which I think makes sense because Jinder did that last year when he had a match set with Brock Lesnar and he lost his title.
Yeah,
it makes sense, Alex.
This was one of the best things. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. One of the best things from a continuity standpoint that they've done on Raw in a very long time. Jinder, well, he actually christened himself and brought it up tonight. Last year, he christened himself the Beastmaster. Like he was all ready to like have his big match versus Brock Lesnar, and we were all dreading it because it was going to be just rest holds followed by suplexes, followed by a missed Colossus, followed by an F5. And that's what we all were expecting. And then, yes, he overlooked AJ Styles and gave us AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar in pretty much the best match those two guys could put on against each other. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to seeing that done the exact same way again or worse. But I did love Jinder coming out and being like, hey, I understand what you might be going through here. Don't overlook AJ Styles. And by the way, here's my ridiculous yoga thing that I do.
That's what happened. Also, Brock has a storied history of whipping that ass of Jinder Mahal back to the 3MB days.
Yeah.
Oh, he took the lesser of the beating this time and that time.
It's true.
He had F5 that time back in the day. Drew did, which I hope is eventually brought up. Ooh, I hope that's eventually brought up. Instead, the Singh brothers get murdered, and one in particular, I can't remember which one it was, landed on his head and neck a couple times. How about not murdering people with German suplexes? I'd be cool with that, but whew.
Yeah, it was weird because the one of them took them directly on the back of the neck and the back of the head. The other one took them on the base of his spine. Like neither one of them looked like they landed pretty well.
They were categorically different, though. Like in the way that you do them, there are different ways to deliver and take a German suplex. Brock did a very clear release German suplex on the first one, just heaved the guy.
Yeah.
With the other brother, both times, he hung on a little bit of extra time. And what that does is bring you down almost on your ass and then like kind of slaps your head down. Brock ain't bridging these days.
No.
I'll tell you, Brock is not bridging these days. And, you know, these guys have not wrestled in 2018. They don't wrestle very rarely. 2 times for Sunil, 1 time for Samir. But they're getting their reps in. That's for damn sure. Reps in.
I had a thought that, you know, you go back a few years to that SummerSlam match between Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar and how that did not end well. You could tell those guys did not come out of that match as friends. But I love the idea, and I'd like to see a little backstage vignette about this, of the two of them meeting backstage sometime and commiserating, bonding over their shared love of destroying the Singh brothers. I think that'd be nice and heartwarming.
Yeah. Let me talk about how much I love this next segment. Winners on the Raw Survivor Series team. Bobby Lashley defeated Elias via countout. This was too short to rate, but this new posing gimmick, I adore. I adore it. And Jimmy Van, our Fightful.com founder, who I have committed to out-surprising on Listen Ya Boy 100. Committed. He always tries to hit me with surprise, whether lame or good. I'm going to out-surprise Jimmy Van on Listen Ya Boy 100. I'll put over that show in a minute. He said, Lex Luger's narcissist gimmick didn't work. I don't think it'll work with Lashley. And I said, Lex Luger never showed his ass cheeks. We never got the payoff of ass cheeks.
True.
We got them tonight. And Lio Rush had me dying.
It's so good.
So did Bobby Lashley. Because Bobby Lashley, I would just love to see the person who went up to Bobby Lashley and said, so your gimmick is going to be that you show everybody your ass, but not really your ass. And Bobby's like, yeah, okay. I'm down with that. And then Lio Rush is just over there like, I love it. And that's what he was doing here. He's like, hit him with the chest pose. Now, hit him with the double bicep. Now, your favorite, that hamstring pose. I lose it every time. And if it's still going on a year from now, I'm going to lose it every time. It's the type of thing that is so ridiculous that it works, and I love. Tell me how much you love Bobby Lashley's ass.
I love his hamstrings. Let's be honest. I love his hamstrings. I loved even more Elias's bit with the cell phone. That was so good. Calling Child Protective Services, and like there's Bobby Lashley's in the ring with his child that he kidnapped weeks ago. How old are you, son? He can't be any older than 10. That, like, Elias, again, we haven't talked about this in a while, but if you told me back when he was in NXT and couldn't figure out how to get that gimmick over,
who would have known
that he would have killed it? He would have gotten the best organic heel heat I've heard just by mentioning a sports team in a local city, and then a month later be a pure babyface getting over with comedy. Like, I mean, I'm amazed. I'm so proud of this guy, and I'm disappointed in the outcome of this match because I really wanted to see him in the Survivor Series team.
Man, I died about the CPS call. It was phenomenal. They brawl outside the ring. Lio Rush grabs Elias's foot and gets him counted out, and that's the match.
Yep.
But Elias, I thought this was a good way to not get him pinned, and Lashley needed this more than Elias did.
Sure.
Elias is a special kind of over. And hey, we talked about this on the pod as far back as a year ago. I was like, or no, maybe not a year ago, but several months ago, probably about half a year, if not more. It can translate so well for Elias because the crowd wanted to like him.
Right.
And now they're along for the ride, and I like that. And this is the best that Bobby Lashley has been since he's been here.
Yes. The
stuff with Lio Rush just gets better. Elias catches Lio. Lashley saves him from too much damage.
Yeah. I will say that Raw's Survivor Series team, male team, makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. Like you have Braun, who's there to destroy anybody, and has been basically negotiated into being a team player for this. Then you have Drew and Dolph, who are best buds. You have Bobby, who's also a heel. Like those four guys, I'd put up against pretty much anybody that SmackDown can throw out there, considering one of them's their own, like an actual McMahon. And then Finn's gonna Finn, but he'll probably wind up being eliminated because he's feuding with both Bobby Lashley and Drew. But still, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. You got four guys that can work together. That's a good Survivor Series team.
Yeah. So before the main event segment, want to mention, guys, November 28th, listen, your boy, number 100, myself and Jimmy Van, the Fightful.com founder. If you all haven't checked out that show before, it is our flagship show, and it is going to be a celebration. I'm making an awful lot of promises that I probably can't keep, but myself and our producer, Melissa, are going to fight on the show, physically fight. In that fight, I have promised explosions. I have promised moves banned from WWE. I'm going to say at least one bone is going to be broken. I want to go ahead and guarantee that. I am promising to out-surprise Jimmy Van. I've had some green screen trickery. I think I'm going to pull off my greatest green screen yet. And Jimmy won't be able to see me until it goes on the air for that reason. That's another promise I'm just making off the cuff. Really writing some checks my ass can't cash now. I promised music, a special intro, and either I'm going to get a great guest thematic for the show, or I will bury the person who wouldn't come on the show because I've been trying really hard. Listen to your boy 100, November 28th. But we got number 98 this Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys join us. Main event segment. Alexa Bliss comes out, reveals that she's picked Nia Jax, Tamina, Mickie James for her Survivor Series team, as well as Natalya, who's been given the night off because of some emotional issues. She and Baron Corbin think that the remaining member need to show dedication over friendship, and it's Sasha Banks and Bayley. And I said, of course they're giving this away unadvertised on Raw. But it was a good match, but let's talk about the Survivor Series team thus far.
Well, I said I figured that at least Mickey was going to be put on the team by Alexa because best friends and whatnot. And Nia, yeah, that makes sense. Nia's big and the irresistible force or whatever. When you're like, hey, yeah, Tamina, you can definitely be on the team, even though you've been around for all of like 6 minutes and you can't walk and your finish is falling off the top rope. I don't know, man. That strains credulity, considering that you have Bayley versus Sasha, and you pick one of them. I understand that your team captain is a heel who doesn't like these women, but why is Tamina on this team? I mean, I understand why, because you're doing the push for her, but really? Tamina?
Well, Sasha and Bayley have a good match. We have the Sasha double knees into the ring post spot, and then she misses and hits the ring post. Bayley does the apron stunner, Bayley to belly on the apron. Come back from a commercial to see Bayley eat knees on a flying elbow drop and is put in the bank statement. Tamina and Nia attack, and Alexa is thrilled. Now, one of the things I do like about the Bayley-Sasha match, they hid a lot of it behind a commercial, so they didn't give us so much to where it was overdone. They let us know that it happened and got the heel heat and overdo it, because this match has to happen at some point, whether it's whenever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like one of those things where, hey, you guys said you wanted Bayley versus Sasha, and we're giving it to you. Why are you upset all over social media? Because you gave it to us with no build up to it, out of the blue for free. You schmozzed the finish, and it's the stakes that you assign to it are something that most of us watching the show don't give a damn about. Being on your Survivor Series team that doesn't really matter in the long run because you haven't assigned stakes to the winner of that match. And you make believing that these people, that brand supremacy is the most important thing to them when it's not for the other 50 weeks out of the year. That doesn't make any sense. Like, to me, I've been begging for a Sasha Banks versus Bayley match one-on-one for months now, and this is the one I got. Damn you, Monday Night Monkey's Paw. You strike again.
By the way, guys, leave a thumbs up on the video if you don't mind. Subscribe. Michael Cole asked, what was the point of having the match? Something that I ask at least once a week. But then we cut backstage, and this is a brilliant cut backstage. This is a damn good one.
Great.
The only time when I was like, damn, is when I saw that blue shirt on Becky. I was like, the monkey paw. Because Ronda Rousey, who said earlier, Becky Lynch doesn't know how to break an arm, not like I do.
Right.
We see Becky Lynch breaking Ronda Rousey's arm.
Right.
It's a fantastic visual and an aggressive one, and Rousey's selling her ass off for Becky, and Becky's cranking, and it looks good. Becky then comes out to the ring, and I just really thought it should be her going in there and swinging. She should go in there swinging herself, and then everybody else comes, because it does not make sense for Becky and Charlotte to fight back to back like Chuck Norris and that dumbass kid from that Sidekicks movie. I was waiting for them to lock arms and just kick their legs up like a Liu Kang bicycle kick, which would keep them elevated while they turned and kicked everyone.
Yeah, this is the thing. When they were like, when Alexa, they beat down Sasha and Bayley, and Alexa's like, just kidding, you don't get to be in the match. Here's the real person in the match, Ruby Riott. And I'm like, oh God, well, she and Natalya are going to eliminate each other, blah, blah, blah. And then they cut backstage, and Becky Lynch is breaking Ronda's arm. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I don't like the fact she's wearing this blue thing. Okay, that's over. Wow, that was really interesting. And then Becky versus the entire Raw women's roster, I was here for it. Like, that was awesome. And then all the SmackDown women join in, including Lana, who could not be further from being involved in this match. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I guess it's fine that all the SmackDown women are there helping Becky because, brand supremacy. But then I saw Charlotte was there, and I was like, She hasn't even accepted the invitation yet to be a part of Survivor Series. Like, Paige is like, I want you on the team. Sasha is a no-show last week. So tomorrow, we'll probably have something involved there. But Charlotte had to be part of this gang initiation thing they did tonight so that she can be part of the video package that they show on Sunday. Because in storyline, Charlotte's not part of the Survivor Series thing yet. She hasn't.
It's weird.
But it's not nearly as weird as her and Becky burying the hatchet after all these months of hating each other because they both wear the same color shirt.
Bloods and Crips, my man.
Well, that's fine. Bloods and Crips. I understand that because that's years and years and years of everything being about that.
I can't wait for the Raw team of Sean Ross Sapp and Alex Pawlowski to beat the shit out of the SmackDown team of Sean Ross Sapp and Alex Pawlowski. It's going to be awesome.
You joke, but that makes about as much sense as what this is right here. Like, it's just so stupid.
So let's talk about the happy accident. Golden Goose Becky gets cracked open, and I'm not going to speculate on who, but I'll take a look at who it is. This is a happy accident, assuming she's okay. The thing is, she was immediately checked out, did not travel out with the rest of the SmackDown girls, I'm told.
Yikes.
That, based on my amateur doctor abilities and just seeing injuries like that, eyes got swelled up, probably cracked, broken nose. If she blows her nose, her eye's going to puff up. I'm sure somebody told her not to. If it's a broken nose, she might be able to work and probably maybe a brace, but you never know what can come from that. You never know if a concussion can come from that. Because if it's concussion, that's bad news. And it's not a happy accident anymore. Is it a cool visual? Yes, but is it worth her missing a match with Ronda Rousey? No, it is not.
No. The other thing that I was worried about is they showed more of her face during the beatdown that followed, and then and afterwards at the top of the stairs. There was not it didn't look like smeared blood from another injury. It looked like fresh blood up near her eye, near her tear duct. And if she's cracked an orbital bone, like if she got hit in the side of the nose, like up here where the nose meets the eye, like that bone there, if that's cracked, she's done. Like, you can't fight with a cracked orbital bone. You can't do that. Only Lorcan got a cracked orbital bone in NXT and was out for a couple of months. Like
that was a very quick return too.
Yeah. Just the idea that if something as stupid as this, we got to show brand supremacy reigns supreme, so let's have a giant brawl between the women that's completely, let's just have them do it and not, it won't be choreographed or whatever, and somebody accidentally throws an elbow or she eats a knee accidentally, and it ends this amazing run that she's on. No, forget about this match that she has with Ronda. If that's in jeopardy, that sucks. But if she has to miss significant time in the middle of this stone cold revisited storyline that she's in, that's just a tragedy. Like, she's been on another level. I hope that it's not a serious injury, and that not only can she compete on Sunday, but that she doesn't miss any significant time.
Yeah, hoping that she's okay. It looked rough. Like, there was already some swelling going on.
No. It
in the eye area, and that's what leads me to be concerned. And if she's okay and she's good to go, I mean, she was working with a cracked jaw already.
Yeah.
And if everything's fine, it's good to go. No big deal. If she got hurt, boy, there's a talk to be had. And I don't care who the person knows or what kind of treatment they've gotten in the past. Becky Lynch is a golden goose right now. You cannot stop her from laying eggs. Stephanie not happy about this backstage, about the attack. Obviously, this is a setup. Baron Corbin doing the same tomorrow.
Yeah, fun. I mean, here's the deal. I'm all for seeing Braun Strowman show up tomorrow wearing a blue shirt and just destroying all of SmackDown's arena. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Also,
wearing a red shirt, excuse me.
Mixed Match Challenge winners announced as getting the number 30 spots in the Royal Rumble. and a paid vacation, which Jimmy Van joked, wow, they're finally going to pay for a wrestler's hotel and transportation.
The finals, I believe, are at TLC.
Yeah.
I have been paying attention to who's in the lead in the little Red Robin thing. I don't know who's.
Here's hoping AJ Styles wins so he can enter the Rumble number 30 and defend against himself.
But yeah, that's the other thing, is that I guess that to me that because I look at the way booking works, that kind of eliminates AJ Styles as being a possible winner of this tournament on the SmackDown side, because I'm pretty sure he's still going to be champion, and that title will be defended by AJ Styles at TLC, and he's not pulling double duty. So I don't even understand why AJ Styles is even in this tournament, considering that if he were to win it, he would have to have that match, and he wouldn't be able to. It's just a weird thing.
Reminder, guys, Fightful MMA podcast, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Fightful SmackDown podcast, Tuesday, 10:05 Eastern. And listen, you boy, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Follow Alex at Pawlowski the 4th. Follow me at Sean Ross Sapp. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out FightfulWrestling.com. We got breaking news there all day long. We're out.